got Nick Calloway with a video, man. Make sure y'all give video a thumbs up and make sure y'all, you know what I'm saying, share this to y'all, you know, community. Make sure y'all give the video a thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and get into it, man.
And usually my process is to take a few days and just watch some lighthearted videos to kind of clear my mind from all this darkness. And a few months ago, when doing just that, I stumbled across a channel that really stuck with me. A channel so wholesome that I couldn't help but smile. It was an account called Plasma Master Don that showcases an old man singing covers of popular songs, with the first one I saw being his version of Slow Dancing in the Dark. With this sweet old man, whose real name is Don. Over the years, Don has accumulated over 500,000 subscribers, capturing the hearts of all of them with his kind personality and captivative singing. He was just what 2020 needed, a break from the darkness, something undeniably innocent. But of all the places I've seen this channel discussed, there was one where I never would have expected to see him mentioned, and that is the r/morbid reality subreddit.
Oh boy.
Now, for those who don't know, this sub is extremely gruesome, and it's summed up perfectly within its title as the darkest recesses of humanity.
Definitely is.
And in the beginning of October 2020, and between all these posts of darkness and death, was a post about Plasma Master Don, the channel that in my mind was probably the purest ever created. Naturally, I assumed this was some kind of joke, but as I clicked on the link, I realized that it was anything but. The post reads, "Sweetest elderly YouTube cover artist, Plasma Master Don, is actually a recently registered sex offender." And along with it were two attached images, one of the Plasma Master Don YouTube channel, and the other of a mugshot that looks eerily similar to this beloved man. The post was then followed up with multiple links leading to two separate sex offender registry sites, each showing a man named Donzel Edward Owens, a 73-year-old man from Ohio. The man happened to be arrested on August 19th, 2019, for a crime labeled as sexual imposition, with his victim being described as a juvenile male. Now, both of these sites offer no explanation as to the situation that specifically led to the arrest, but just by looking it up, sexual imposition typically occurs when someone has some kind of sexual contact with a person against their will. And in this case, we already know that the victim was an underage boy. So that alone means this Donzel sexually touched a child without their consent, which can't be given by a child anyway. Now that alone says so much, but I wanted to know the specifics.
I see where this finna go.
Of this case, just to be sure of what we're dealing with here.
Never know.
And after doing a little bit of digging, I eventually came across an article that briefly mentioned Donzel, stating that a May 13th pretrial was set in County Municipal Court for Donzel E. Owens Jr., charged with sexual imposition for allegedly grabbing another man's genitals on Sunday.
What the fuck?
And as we know already, this is something he was convicted of.
I would've whooped that motherfucker ass. I ain't gonna lie, I would've whooped his ass, bro. Ain't no way.
It's a disturbing crime, and one that I find to be completely unforgivable. But what was even more shocking to me about this case was that it was actually committed by Plasma Master Don, as they theorized that the two were the same person. Now, truthfully, I was shocked, but I initially assumed that it was just someone who looked very similar. I mean, I've seen false reports like this in the past, where people nearly had their lives ruined over it. And when I went on Plasma Master Don's channel, I couldn't find any comments relating to the story, and his like to dislike ratio was still extremely high. So I just assumed that this connection wasn't actually true. After all, how could this man, the man I've been watching for months now, be capable of such a disturbing thing? But just out of curiosity, I decided to do a little bit of investigating, and what I found was incredibly disheartening. Now, before we really get into this, please do not send any hate towards this person, and please do not go after them. That's obviously just not okay, and I'm only sharing this information because it's worrisome, and I feel like it really needs to be discussed.
They do.
So is Plasma Master Don really the same person as this...
Don't get talked about enough either, but it really do. No bullshit.
...registered sex offender? Well, starting with the most obvious factor first, this Donzel person shown within the mugshot does look eerily similar to Don.
That's him. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. That's him. You can't convince me otherwise.
Man behind the Plasma Master channel. Same looking face, same glasses, same brown eyes, same black hair, even the same birthmark. I mean, he also appears to be wearing the same exact shirt in this match. But again, basing things solely off of looks is completely irresponsible. There has to be more evidence. So what about their names? Well, as mentioned previously, the sex offender's name is Donzel Edward Owens. And interestingly enough, in Plasma Master Don's channel, he says that the videos are by Don Owens, aka himself. And further researching the name Donzel Owens, I discovered an old personal YouTube channel belonging to Don that doesn't feature any content, but it shows his photo from all the way back in 2012. And within this channel, his name is listed as Donzel Owens Jr.
I mean, like, sometimes, like, you can't be dumb all the time, you know?
Not only do they look the same, but they have the same name, and Don can easily be seen as a nickname for Donzel. It's strange, but again, maybe this could just be some crazy coincidence, so I kept looking.
I don't believe in that.
Now, going off the sex offender registry, it lists Donzel's birthday as September 10th, 1947.
Damn!
Meaning that he is currently 73 years old, which Don certainly looks. I mean, this is a man that clearly seems to be in his 70s. So the age does seem to...
Hey, Nick Calloway, wild boy. That's a wild boy.
...line up. But he doesn't just look 73. He is 73. Shockingly, when looking under his About tab, Don actually gives his full date of birth. Something I assume he does so that his fans will know and send him birthday wishes. And I honestly would have thought this was charming before, because it's such a grandpa move.
It's just dumb.
But now I view it as incredibly dark, because his birthday is exactly the same as this registered sex offender.
They look like a
so
dog.
they look the same. They have the same name. And
unless he got a twin brother. I didn't think about that one. But if it look like a duck, quack like a duck, motherfucker, it's a goose.
Same exact birthday.
What?
It's starting to get to the point where these coincidences are now piling up, and it doesn't get any better from here.
Are you scrolling? I know you're scrolling. Stop scrolling. Check out Beagle Live. It's a place where you hide.
When you're a registered sex offender, there are certain things about you that are disclosed to the public, something done in order to protect the community. And in Don's case, one of the things that they disclosed was...
Like I said in this previous video, y'all look up the sex the pedos this y'all way in y'all area. You won't believe. You walk past these people every day. You see them at the store every day, damn now. And you don't even know they touch little kids. That shit crazy.
Is his vehicle, where it's listed as being a 2005 white Buick Century. Now, this is kind of an odd thing to bring up during this topic, but it actually is vital to our investigation, because Don has actually shown his vehicle on several occasions throughout his channel. And you won't even believe this, but one of these videos is literally called My 2005 Buick Century. And in it, we see that his car is in fact
this nigga
white.
dumb, man.
It's the same exact model, same year, and same color as the sexual predator.
Man, as a people, we gotta start doing. We gotta start showing people our cars and shit. Like I feel like, you know, especially if you know, like especially if you in that life type shit, or you feel me, like in general, we just gotta start showing people our car where we ride in. That shit ain't all that for real. I used to do it. You know what I'm saying? But That's right.
So all in all, we have the same card, same name, same birthday, and identical looking.
Alright,
and
bro.
that's not even all. This Donzel was charged in a very specific area of Ohio, which I'm not going to name because truly I do not want this man to be doxxed, and it's literally the last thing I want to come of this, so please do not do that. But within Don's channel, it's made abundantly clear that he lives in the same exact area as this Donzel, something made obvious by a literal tour of the town that this sex offender is said to live in, as well as him frequently visiting parks and festivals that are very close to this area. And I know this all sounds vague, but if you've seen my channel before, I hope you can just take my word for it. But this information is out there, and it's not hard to find, but I really just don't feel comfortable disclosing it. But this old singing man lives in the same area as the pedophile Donzel. So with all this, I think we're at a point where we can take this evidence and begin to assume the obvious here. That Plasma Master Don is in fact Donzel Owens, a sexual predator. There's just too much overwhelming evidence here to think otherwise. And I even went back to check and make sure the actual pages that show his registry were legit, and it turns out they are, as these sites can literally be reached through the FBI's actual website. And if you do an independent search on this site for Donzel, he really does come up. So where does that leave us? Well, with the likelihood that YouTube's most wholesome channel is actually being run by a sex offender. Plasma Master Don likely grabbed a young boy by...
A lot of these other YouTubers, I can't wait for them to be exposed, man. There's a lot of YouTubers too that is, that...
is genitals. And the most concerning part to me is that this was a recent thing. I mean, he was just charged over a year ago. So he did this when he was already a beloved YouTuber.
The video,
which brings me to the whole point that is likely run by a predator. And with a channel this size, he could, at any point, use it to lure victims in. I mean, he's this wholesome grandpa. Everybody loves him. And I'm sure he has tons of people who reach out to him every single day, many of whom are likely underage, just given the demographics of YouTube. And this is especially concerning given the fact that on multiple instances he is saying children's songs dedicated to Don that is clearly run by a child.
I want to hear that bullshit.
Ever heard of Plasma Master Don?
He can be in contact with thousands of kids, all of whom look up to him. Just rubs me the wrong way. Because what would a predator do with that type of power? This is something that always makes me nervous, especially given how common grooming is nowadays, and how easily people can be manipulated by those with fame. And now that we have a channel here run by a likely sex offender, it just makes me even more worried. And obviously there's no proof that this is actually going on here, but I think it's a valid concern, simply based off of the legitimate crime that this man seems to have committed. And just to clarify, I'm using words like likely and seems because I want to avoid legal issues here, but I feel like the evidence more than speaks for itself.
Hey, Nick Smart, guy.
Now, there are just a few other points that I want to add here about Don.
And he keep on saying, don't say hey this way. Man, this is a smart man.
Channel, with one of which being the comments. Earlier I had mentioned how there were no comments under his videos that spoke of his supposed arrest, something I found very bizarre. Well, it turns out that Don seems to have banned any comments that include buzzwords surrounding his case, and not just the more vulgar terms that YouTube normally holds for review, but it seems his channel removes any talk of this case at all. Something he likely did within the settings of his channel, along with him most likely manually deleting some as well, which is clearly not something that an innocent man would typically do. And along with this, something else fairly strange happened recently within one of his videos, a video called The Past Recedes, John Fusante, cover by request. And in it, he begins the video saying that his health was hindering his singing ability, further adding that he was considering stopping the channel altogether. Now, obviously this is something that is quite sad as he is getting older, but interestingly enough, This video was posted just 4 days after the news broke about him being a supposed predator. This was the very next video he made after people started to catch on, and after that post was made to Morbid Reality. So the timing is clearly suspicious. And by the end of this investigation, I'm equally as disappointed as I am disturbed. This was the one channel that so many people clung onto, simply because of its innocence and its wholesomeness. I mean, I've never seen such a positive and highly praised channel in all my life. Yet in actuality, none of us knew that he's literally a registered sex offender, a predator, the most vile kind of person. And if anything, it confirms a long-running trend of my channel, that there is always more than what meets the eye, especially with what you see here on YouTube. And in this case, Plasma Master Don turned out to be the very opposite of what we all thought he was. I want to say thank you so much to my...
Yeah, bro, like, y'all gotta watch. It's a lot of them out there, like, a lot of famous people that's out there to get your kids, you know what I'm saying? This world evil, full of evil people and crooked people, you know. The most powerful people can be the most evil people, too. Don't y'all never forget that one. But, that being said, man, see when I see y'all. Y'all better turn on the notifications, cause it's nighttime right now. So when y'all see this video, expect another video. And then, Saturday, which is tomorrow, I'm finna go and do a third video. Y'all gonna get that. Y'all probably gonna get that like 12 o'clock at night, tomorrow night. You feel me? So, I'm gonna let that video go live. It's gonna be a late night. Well, I'm gonna do probably 11:40-ish. Y'all gonna get that video. So, be expecting another video tomorrow night, which is gonna, you know, be at an announcement that I got. Y'all make sure y'all send gifts, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all type in the chat, type some in the chat. That being said, see you when I see y'all. Let's ride.